Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're talking about a telltale beginner bad habit. It's called inner ankle bend or pronation. And if you're doing this, it means that you're learning how to skate and you're trying, and I have so much respect for you. Let's talk about why it happens and how to fix it so you can feel more in control, sturdy, and balanced on your skates. So what is inner ankle bend? It's when your ankles collapse in like this when you skate on your inside edges. And it can cause a lot of problems over time and injury and make it really hard to skate. The number one reason I usually see this happening is loose skates. So step number one, let's get our skates tight. How tight? Really, really tight. So you're just going to crank your skates as tight as you can. I love the Maxim because you can get your skates really, really nice and tight. If your skates don't have good buckles, then it might be harder to get them nice and tight. The tighter your skates are, the more support your foot has, the more support your ankle has, and the more high performance and in control you are going to be on your skates. And not just your skates, you also got to tighten all of your bolts, everything. This is a pro tip. You should always have one of these when you go skating because you never know what's going to come loose. These are your axles that hold the wheel in, so you want to make sure all of these are nice and tight. You want to make sure your cuff bolt's nice and tight. My skates don't have a cuff bolt because if any of your screws are loose, you're going to feel floppy. So everything needs to be tight. It could also be your skates. So I talk about this a lot, the soft boot skates, how they have that kind of flex meshy material that gives your foot more flex, and it's so much easier to get your inner ankle bend on those soft boot skates. And don't get me wrong, I like soft boot skates. I do think there's pros and cons of them, but for beginners, I usually recommend this hard boot shell so you really can get that nice tight ankle support, and it'll be easier to stand upright on your skates. If you already have soft boot skates, it's okay. You can still learn on them. It's just a little bit of a bigger learning curve. These are just things to keep in mind next time you go shopping for skates. And I personally like hard boot for everything. Your skates could also be good, but they're just old and worn out. An old, worn out pair of skates is going to be lacking that ankle support that you need to stay upright and keep your ankles from bending in. I worked at a skate school, and when kids came in with crazy old skates, we'd always put them in our rentals, and there was usually a big shift in their skill just by getting them in a good pair of skates. So that does make a difference. Okay, so you have on a nice pair of skates, hard boot shell, nice tight buckles, everything is tight, and you are bending in. So first of all, if you're bending in like that, it means that you're really heavy on your inside edges. When you skate, you have edges. You have the inside edge, which is the big toe, and you have the outside edge, which is the pinky toe. An inner ankle bend means you're just hanging out on those inside edges. So just having an awareness of your edges and knowing that you need to be completely centered over your frame. As you can see, it's kind of like standing on a tightrope or stilts or something. So you want to be completely centered over this frame. You don't want to be too much this way or too much this way. So my next tip is to just focus, because a lot of times it's just having the awareness. You might not even know that you're skating like this. But since I've now pointed it out and you go skating today and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on my inside edge. And now you can just focus and recenter yourself. Let's talk about some other things you can do. I want to revisit the duck walk. Do you remember the duck walk? I include this in a lot of my beginner videos, how to rollerblade, how to balance, how to get moving on your skates. It's your first steps. So you start in the shape of a V, arms up for balance. And you take little steps in the V shape. So a lot of times with this inner ankle bend, what I see is you're also kind of skating wide. It's actually really hard to inner ankle bend in the V shape, like literally hard. So a lot of times it's a wide stance issue. So returning to that duck walk will help bring you back in. Let's return to the V shape. Little steps, staying centered over your frame. You're doing great. Another beginner exercise that I love that you can start thinking about, you need to stay centered over your frame to be able to do it, is marching. So marching, you'll put your arms up in front and you're just gonna bring your knees up to your hands and come back down. And you have to be perfectly centered in order to come back down. And with every step, I want you to just think, I'm centered over my frame. Focus, focus, focus is a huge tip. Another exercise that's really good, and I include this one in a lot of videos too, is a 1 foot glide. This is more advanced, but it's something to start thinking about because it's so good for giving you an understanding of your edges. When you 1 foot glide, you actually want to be on your outside edge, your pinky toe, which is the opposite of inner ankle bend. I try to just kind of put weight on your pinky toe and stand on 1 foot. You can do this at any skill level. You can also do it in the grass. Now add just a little bit of speed and weight in your pinky toe. You literally want to put weight into your pinky toe. Another reason that your ankles might be bending in is ankle strength. Skating requires really strong ankles. And so beginners a lot of the time just don't have the ankle strength to not let them collapse in. So the best way to fix ankle strength, honestly, in my opinion, get out there and go skate. Skating will build strong ankles, and over time your ankles will just get stronger and not want to collapse in. And when your ankles get stronger, you'll be able to hold your feet upright. So for those of you who are really following me, you know that I'm actually taking some off-ice ice skating classes, and in that we do a lot of ankle strength stuff because you have to have strong ankles to be a strong skater. So you can do ankle exercises off your skates. There's a lot of YouTube videos that have all sorts of ways to strengthen your ankles with resistance bands. If you want more skates off training and strengthening exercises, let me know. That could be a video for a different day. Pronation is common. It's not a flaw. And the more aware you are of it, the easier it's gonna be to get centered and get stronger. And skating will feel so much more in control and smoother. So stay focused, go practice. Don't forget, practice is the best teacher. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.